Hi, this is Abhay here, and this is pretty much the closing video for this build. This is the Poison Shield Charge Pathfinder, and it's probably the best all-rounder build I've played, or rather I've seen in 0.20. So 0.20 is a patch that constituted a lot of nerfs, generally a slower pace of playstyle for most builds, and also a much harder game for most ascendancies, I feel. So the thing that I really wanted to test out here was two things. For one, this is definitely not better than Deadeye Lightning Spear, a Spear Deadeye, right? Because Lightning Spears and Serpents is just kind of overtuned right now, and yeah. But other than that, I really wanted to make a character that worked, that didn't use a broken clear mechanic and then a broken single target mechanic. But and so the best I could come up with was actually this. I might think of some other ideas, but I think this is pretty much what I would suggest if you want to play something other than Lightning Spear. Alright, so primarily this is a shield build, so it scales off shield damage, and the clear comes from poisons. So poison clear is really good because of Herald of Plague. So Herald of Plague is spreads the strongest poison on kill in the 3.6 meter range. So it will proliferate through the entire pack if your poisons are really strong. And because shield charge focus is actually to do one really big poison every 1.29 seconds, you basically have that very big poison at all times. And also because you do one very big poison in that shield charge, you also get a full refill of Plague Bearer every single time. And if you see what usually in maps, what will happen is that I will charge through, hit a target with shield charge, and then hit Plague Nova with the other pack, and then charge through the next. And because it's a very fast cooldown, I've reduced my cooldown significantly. 1.29 seconds means that I'm going to charge, Plague, charge, Plague, charge, Plague throughout the entire map. And it clears, I would say, probably about... It's probably faster than most builds, but still slower than Lightning Spear because Lightning Spear is just broken, right? And yeah, so that's pretty much it. The great thing about this build mostly is because it's tanky. It is almost 2 times tanky than a Lightning Spear character. So Lightning Spear Deadeye almost always gets about 15 to 20k max hit or something, or EHP, sorry. And this has about 30 plus-ish K EHP. You have pretty high max hit as well because of the ascendancy. So the only thing this really isn't that tanky in is Fizz max hit, so those you have to be careful of, especially Fizz lamps, because they go right through your block and your evasion. So those are your 2 defensive layers. But other than that, most of the mechanics in the game is pretty manageable. I've done all the pinnacles except for arbiter, I think. Yeah, so I've done simulacrum on this. I've done simulacrum up to T4. I've done ritual, breach actually probably the easiest. Breach and expedition are probably the easiest for this. But yeah, I've done simulacrum and what's it called, ritual. Not many builds can like kind of do everything, but this build can do everything. The only thing I haven't really unlocked is arbiter, mostly because arbiter is kind of expensive now. So when I first did arbiter, I did it for the points, and also because arbiter was like, I think about less than two divs at that point to run a single arbiter. Now it's like closer to 4 div around thereabouts for each attempt, and so I'm like, there's for me there's no point in doing it. It's 4 divs just to get the offhand, and these additional points don't really benefit the rest of the Atlas skill tree. Only really benefits arbiter runs, so it didn't really matter to me. I also run through the Atlas strategy after this, but first let me talk about the build. So damage scaling on the build is pretty good for single target. I think right now single target DPS per is close to 1 mil. I think, yeah, 1 mil, and that is constant DPS uptime as long as you hit your shield charges, right? But because it's poison, right, you don't have you have a lot more mobility options. So a lot of times in boss fights, you don't have to stand around and just hit the boss, and then when you have to dodge, you just do the 0 DPS. This one you can just walk around and dodge skills and just shield charge every time it's off cooldown, and that's generally what you do in this build, right? You just shield charge, let it poison, and then run around in circles. You can kind of do that, and because you're so tanky, most bosses can't really touch you. So while you're running around, you could probably get hit like a couple of times. Like I fight Zesh and I get hit by his slams because I forget to dodge them, and it takes like 1/3 of my ES or something. All right, let's talk about the skill breakdown and how the damage is scaled. So skill breakdown, this is resonating shield. This is just mainly to apply debuffs and also as a form of animation cancel the end of shield charge. So you don't really need this to do damage, and you want this as low level as possible. So this is level 5. This has more attack speed, so tempo, rage for rage generation, blind for blind application, maim for maim application, and culling strike just for bosses, right? Shield charge, this is your main damage skill, along with Nova, which is your clear skill. So in shield charge, if you look at the initial damage, it looks at 53k here. This is just your pass-through hit, right? That's the non-slam hit, okay? At the end of the shield charge, there is a extra damage that you do when you collide, I think, when you crash or something. Yeah, there's a crash damage, collision damage, and that is this one. So if you see here, this is 53k. The collision damage is 200, almost close to 200k. So it's almost 4 times the amount of this whatever stated DPS is. And if you look at the poison here, this one is only 35, but down here it's about 127k max hit, max poison range. Shield charge, you run heavy swing, concentrated effect, heft, close combat, and ingenuity. You can drop either ingenuity or heft for envenom if you don't have enough chance to poison. Down here I do have about 100% chance to poison without it, so I don't really quite care about running envenom. Thunderous leap is just for mobility. This helps you to get up ledges, get across ravines. It's also to get you out of trouble if you're getting stun locked. But very rarely this happens nowadays because I just kill stuff faster than they can surround me. Despair, this is for bosses only. You just put them under the boss. Ritualistic curse, curse ground, and heightened curse. This is just to reduce chaos rest to by I think 27%. So when you're dealing with mobs that have chaos resistance, your damage doesn't get cucked. Alright. Plague Bearer is for remote application of poison on bosses. Let's say, for example, you can't shield charge in, or you're running away from the boss, you can still use this. So you shield charge, and you always get maximum Plague Bearer after you shield charge, and you just Plague Bearer, right? You can use this as a secondary clear skill because it refills so fast. Every shield charge, you get another use of this. And what you do is you mainly use this to clear the packs, so you can shield charge through the area instead of hitting something, right? That's what I would use it for. That speeds up my clear, right? So I will put, let's say if there's a bunch of mobs in between me, let's say, okay, I'll show you an example. A bunch of mobs here, they're all trash mobs. I don't want to deal with them. I just Plague, I drop Plague Nova, and then I shield charge through the mobs after they die, right? And then shield charge off cooldown, probably do the same thing. So you can mix and match as either shield charging or Plague Bearer, depending on kind of what the situation calls for it. Wind Dancer, this is just for evasion rating. Because you level up so much melee skills, it's actually 29. Wind Wave, Arm's Length, and Magnified, this is just for crowd control. Very rarely do you get surrounded, but in simulacrums, this is very helpful because mobs are just going to jump out of nowhere and just start mobbing you, right? So this is helpful there, but not so much in other areas. It's mostly just for the evasion rating. Withering Presence, this is for Wither application. This gives you increased damage taken on poison targets. Yeah. Herald of Plague, this is your clear, this is your prolift, right? So your shield charges will prolift the entire screen if all the mobs are closely clustered by. This is kind of the reason why this clears kind of good even though it's not lightning spear, mainly because poison prolifs are really strong. Once you don't really have something like double herald chaining effect, right? So this is super good, especially in like maps like Savannah, where there's maps like Savannah where there's a lot of mob packs around and they're clustered in wide open areas. You can just shield charge and you can pretty much clear the whole screen. So, or you Nova and you clear the whole screen. It's also really great for expedition, as long as you didn't pick any mods that nullify your damage. You can shield charge a single mob and then it will just wipe through the whole screen. So Herald Plague's really nice. Precision is just for accuracy without having to get accuracy rolls on gear. You don't really need much accuracy per se, because shield charge means you're kind of like right in front of the opponent, enemy. So you just need 100% on like the under 2 meter range. Ghost Dance works very well with high evasion and ES to get ES recovery, and then fast forward to make sure that you have higher uptime, not higher uptime, higher proc rates on the Ghost Dance. Okay, let's move on to the gear. If you notice, I have a charm slot missing. I've just removed it. It used to be the 11 div charm. I kind of was trying out to see if it was okay, but I was like, eh. Okay, so for gear, the primary way you scale shield charge damage is going to be 3 things: chance to poison, 4 things: chance to poison, percentage increased damage, poison magnitude, and levels. Okay, so you kind of want as many of this on the gear on the gear you have as much as possible. For levels of melee skills, your main hand weapon has +5. If you get a 2-hander and go Giant's Blood, it goes at +7, but I don't think it's worth it because you path too much to the left hand side and there's a lot of travel nodes that you don't like, that doesn't really make sense. So I've gone for a spear because a spear can give you +5 melee skills as well as double attribute suffixes, right? Strength and dex. Not many other one-handers can do that. Maces only give you strength, and so definitely go with spear. But yeah, if you socket it and you double corrupt it and get 2 sockets, you can run increased skill speed here. So 16% increased skill speed. That's great for your Plague Nova as well as for your Despair Curse. You can also put Azkaban in this to get 30 spirit if you want, but that's just not. I mean, I didn't really need the extra spirit, so skill speed kind of works for me. The other levels come from +3 on the amulet and +2 on the gloves, right? You can also corrupt implicit this for +1 on the implicit, but I've tried this 3 times, and the best I could get was a double socket. So so this is the double socket, right? It would be nice if I had +1 on implicit, because that would be about 9% more damage, but yeah, gotta get lucky, I guess. Okay, that's all for level scaling on the gear. The other types of scaling mostly on the rings, because on the rings you can run Icefang Orbits. Okay, so Icefang Orbit you at least want 1, and the reason why you at least want 1 is because all damage from hits to poison targets contributes to chill magnitude. Alright, and if you for me, if you see me fight bosses, the enemies are always 25% chilled. And they are 25% chilled because the fizz hits on shield charge are so huge, it will always proc the 25%. And this enables that. And you would say, like, why are you running 2 instead of 1 if because the base stats of this ring are really good, and it's very hard to replace it. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Icefang Orbit, if you get the percentage increased damage implicit, you get 30% here, as well as the 22% or 25% magnitude of poison and the chance to poison hit. All these 3 things you want, right? So I would rather sacrifice a ring slot, which mostly gives me resistances, just for more damage. You can't really go a rare ring, because the only rare ring mods that give damage are accuracy, which if you're not accuracy capped, and added fizz damage. And the added fizz damage isn't, I mean, this itself already has added fizz damage, okay, but the added fizz damage isn't that great because your shield charge base fizz is really high because of the inherent scaling of it, right? So you get added physical damage per 15 armor on shield, and then a pretty sizable amount of base offhand physical damage. So the ring choices are usually, most people would run them defensively, they would go resistances, but because I have resistances everywhere else and I'm quite optimized, I just go for double Ice Fangs. Yeah, so this is just more damage. And then finally the shield itself. You want the shield to have as high as armor possible. I could double corrupt it. I could corrupt it again if I wanted to get a double socket, but I've just been too scared. Getting this shield alone is already very hard. I managed to snipe snipe this. I also have another one spare if I want that, but the other one doesn't have physical damage reduction. If you corrupt it, if any corrupt it and get another socket, I think you can go up to a 1450 armor or 1470 something like that armor. But yeah, it would be just another like 8%, 9% DPS. Yeah, I would do that definitely if I had like more spares, but I don't have more spares, and yeah, these shields are hard to come by, so I'll just leave it as it is. As high armor as possible, 300 and above, and suffixes, whatever it is to get res or attributes or resistances in order. The rest of the gear is pretty straightforward. It's rest of the gear is pretty straightforward. It's mostly res and attributes. For especially for your boots, movement speed, res, attributes. You want double socket on your boots for the cooldown recovery. So this is an owl talisman. You can run 2 of them. Amulet, you want as much spirit as possible. And then you want to anoint for lay siege, or what was the other one called again? Lay siege or offensive stance. Both of them are good. I've gone for lay siege because it's cheaper, but you can go for offensive stance and then try to get lay siege another way. Yeah, same thing with chest armor. Chest armor, you want evasion. I think pure evasion based because you want as high as evasion as possible. But for the helm, gloves and boots, you just kind of want ES. Yeah. What else? Okay, for the gloves, you need physical damage leech as mana because your shield charges are going to cost a lot of mana. So normally when you skill levels on a skill, your mana costs are unsustainable, right? And they're just too insane to maintain. But in this case, you don't really have that as a problem. And you don't really have that as a problem because you can leech it back. So, you know, I shoot charge, I hit something, I get my full mana back because the fizz hit is so high. So you kind of want this. You can definitely move the fizz leech to the ring. But I mean, as I said, you lose damage that way because you don't really get much damage options on rings or gloves. So +2, yeah, I mean, I discussed this already. As high ES as possible, resistances. As long as you have the leech and the melee skills, I think you're good. I tried to corrupt it for +1 and I got double socket. Belt ingenuity because yeah, boost your rings, and this is a good source of damage. Let me show you exactly how much damage. Wait, can I do that? Okay, let me show you how much exactly how much damage each ring contributes. So that's, you see this value here? Yeah, it's a lot of damage. So yeah, yep. All right, charms don't really matter. You can I would run double stun charms. You're freeze immune, so you don't really quite care about freeze. You're chill immune, so you're slow immune, so you don't care about slows as well. This is just for rage generation, random rage generation. You can kind of remove this out if you want. It doesn't really matter. And yeah. Okay, let's go through the passive tree. This is the last thing. So for passive tree, ascendancy, you want to get relentless pursuit and thawing campfire kind of first. These two pretty much will. Okay, so this is the reason why I went Pathfinder. Okay, you could probably run this on a Deadeye. You could probably run this on Amazon or Ritualist. This, you know, you're on this side of the tree. You're starting from this point. You can probably run these, right? Because Pathfinder Ascendancy doesn't actually give you damage. I mean, the Traveler's Wisdom, this kind of is damage. Pseudo damage is like 20% more. But this whole Ascendancy doesn't give you damage. It's just tankiness and utility, right? And so that tells you how strong the base skill is, right? How strong the base shield charge skill is. Because if I ran, for example, an Amazon here, or Ritualist, I would probably get maybe double damage, right? But what I wanted out of this character was not double damage. What I wanted out of this character was the ability to handle every single map mod without complaining, and 2, be able to do all the content in the game on a single character, right? And so that's the reason why I chose Pathfinder. And so unaffected by slows, temp chains, you don't care. Enemy has added as cold, you don't care because you're not going to get chilled. You're not going to have 50% chills on you. Chill ground, you don't care. So essentially, this kind of the whole point of this build is to just say fuck you to maps, right? Because that's what maps are doing right now. Maps are fucking everyone else over. Even lightning spear characters will run into a temp chains map and they will complain, right? Because temp chains suck so much, right? It's 20% attack action speed reduction, 20% move speed reduction, and you know you don't have that problem because you're a Pathfinder, right? So immune to freeze, yeah, same thing. Anyway, let's move on. So sustainable practices. This thing is actually really strong, and I'll explain why. You might think of it as max resistance, right? So if you were to compute this is at 75% res. This is almost like 86% res, okay? Because you take 30% less damage out of that, you know. So it's almost like 86% res. So you could argue it's like Smith or Kitava, but slightly worse. But here's the reason why this is actually stronger than Smith or Kitava. So when you do maps, there are 3 mods that lower your resistances. You have Ele weakness, which is fine if you have overcapped res. You have negative max resistances, which counters Smith or Kitava because your max res goes from possibly 90 to minus 25, depending on how much Waystone, or rather modifier effect you have, right? And then if you have pen, which can go from 25% to about 30 to 40%, 40% pen will kill most characters. And it will kill most characters because your res goes from like 75 to 35 and you take 3 times damage or something from Ele. On a Pathfinder, it is probably the only ascendancy that handles it without too much of an issue. And it handles it without too much of an issue because it's a percentage damage reduction, right? So even if I take 3 times less, 3 times more, it ends up being reduced to 2 times more only, right? So I go from a 3 times more taken to a 2 times more taken only, right? And that's still manageable, right? And so kind of Pathfinder has low-key strong for just going to maps and saying fuck you to all the mods that exist, right? It doesn't really matter what mods you roll. It doesn't really matter what mods on your map. You should be able to handle it, right? And the thing about this as well that is pretty cool is like you can just buy all the 6 modded maps, corrupt the 6 modded maps that most people cannot run, which is what I've been doing as well. Some people will corrupt their maps for juice, and then they go like, oh shit, it has temp chains now, I can't run it, and then they'll sell it for cheap, and you can just buy it for cheap, right? So that's the thing that it's the same theory of POE1. The builds that can do all the mods will just buy the cheap maps that everyone else cannot run, right? Ooh. Sorry, I'm gonna make some money. Okay, Traveler's Wisdom. This is effectively 6 extra points, and 6 extra points on average is about 20% more damage. Because you're gonna get all the low-hanging percentage damage nodes around your skill tree. All right, let's talk about the rest of the passive tree. Sorry, the passive tree. Yeah, let's talk about the rest of the passive tree. You notice I'm not pathing here and getting the movement speed, and the reason why is that you don't actually care about movement speed. The reason being is that most characters will spend their time running around. I spend most of my time shield charging around. All right, and if you see it, the cooldown on shield charge, yeah, that's my mobility for me, right? The only time shield charge isn't that fast is like if you keep knocking the mobs. So that's why you sometimes Plague Nova stuff before you shield charge through, because the Plague Nova kills them and then you just shield charge and then use it to travel the map. So movement speed is not as crucial, so I have not gotten this. I have gotten this though because it's on the way, but yeah, I have not gotten this, I've not gotten these. You pathing here, you want to get all the shield nodes here, so these are block nodes, because you can get glancing, right? So with these shield nodes and with glancing, you actually have cap block. And cap block, although you will take 50% damage from block hits, it's still a pretty decent mitigation layer. Here's the thing as well, with 75% block, you pretty much enable lay siege and you enable offensive stance as damage sources. So you could get 1 on a Megalo, and then you can get 1 just through annoyance, right? And then you can get like 150% damage. But yeah. You also path here because you get a lot of cooldown reduction nodes, recoil and recovery nodes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You also get 2 sockets as a result. So these 2 sockets here, 1 and 1. And why you need sockets is if you get enough chance to poison on sockets, you don't need envenom on your links, right? So normally I would have envenom here. I would normally have envenom here, but I've managed to swap this out for more damage just because all my sockets have poison chance. The things you want on jewels are chance to poison, recovery rate, cooldown recovery rate, magnitude of poisons, and either evasion, attack damage, or damage to res, right? So you see almost every single one of my rare jewels kind of have the almost the same exact modifiers. A lot of the pathing attribute nodes are just going to be solving for attributes you don't have, so strength. You're going to get a lot of dex from these rings, so you don't really need to get that much dex on the tree. Then you path here, you get lasting toxins and stacking toxins. You don't actually need this if you don't care about movement speed too much. I only have this because I have a Megalo that has it. Yeah. So the poison count, you want 2 as a minimum. And you want 3 if you're optimized for cooldown. Okay, I'll show you later. You path here, you get as many of the percentage increased damage nodes as you can. So this is on blinded targets. You can apply blind with resonating on bosses, so this is still reliable. You want poison magnitude here. You want subterfuge mask for EHP because you get an ES helm, and then you get evasion out of it. So this is like 800 evasion. Percentage increased damage. Path down here. Get all the hybrid ES evasion nodes. So you try to max out as many of the hybrid ES evasion nodes as you possibly can on the way. So here, here, and here. Down here, percentage increase as well. More sockets. Down here. You only go this section if your cooldown recovery is high enough. If your cooldown recovery is low, let's say it's 1.7, 2 seconds for shield charge, you don't get this because you won't have enough shield charges to get 3 poisons on your target, right? But the moment you do get enough cooldown recovery, get this, get the socket here. You path up here, you get CI, which means you're chaos immune, bleed immune, poison immune, right? That's pretty much solves a lot of the damage you take. So you can do like added as extra chaos modifiers. You can do chaos pen modifiers on expedition. You can do all monster hits have a chance to poison. You can do all these. CI is like super strong for that reason, right? So you path here, these are really strong ES nodes. You get the socket here as well, and then you get the cooldown recovery rate. The reduced skill duration is kind of it's alright. It just synergizes well with Ghost Dance, but other than that, it doesn't really do anything else. I just value a cooldown recovery rate by quite a bit. If I could get this down to 1 second, I could pretty much spam a shield charge through the map. So Megalomaniac, okay, I'll show you the unique jewels, right? I have only 2 unique jewels. The rest are rares. You've seen them, the Viridians. You have Prism and Belief, plus 3 level of shield charge skills. This gives you more damage on your shield charge, about 28% more. And then a Megalomaniac. So Megalomaniacs, generally, there are many skills there are many notables that are useful to you. The priority is mostly stuff like this: offensive stance, lay siege, authority, right? In this case here, I've gotten authority and this one, so that's 25% or 20% increased melee damage. Immobilize is on stun targets, so when the targets are stunned, shield charge actually stuns quite a bit. You actually do another 25%, so this is like really strong. The great thing as well is that it's a 3 modded Megalo. I got lucky here. I bought this with 15 divs, but it also has this, so I pretty much can just remove the 2 points here. Although now that I think about it, I don't really need the move speed, so I'm not sure if this is like essential. Apparently we'll try to look for another Megalo that has 3 mods, or at least offensive stance plus something else useful. But you know, if I can't get it, you know, I'll just stick with this one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all there is to the build. Let me talk about my LS strategy and how I'm farming currency. So right now, currency is at about 50 divs. I have a bunch of stuff I haven't sold yet. Like for example, I have like 4 audiences. I'm building up simulacrums as well. I've sold a few already. Yeah, I still have stuff like jewels I haven't sold. And yeah, eventually when I get to, if I do sell everything, I'll probably have about close to 60, 70 divs. I might think of making another build, but for now I'm kind of happy playing this. I will have a great difficulty trying to figure out stuff and next thing to play, because there are very few builds that can tick off all the boxes that this build can. So yeah, I do want to make a deepest tower build. I've already bought one, so I bought this deepest tower. It looks really good. I mean, this is super nicely rolled, right? I do want to play a build like this. The question is, what kind of build will it be? And likely it will have to be a warrior because I haven't actually touched warrior before. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed this build video. I will drop the POB in the description. If you want to play this, let me know. I can help you out. But yeah. See you guys. I'm out. Bye. Wait, hold up. Sorry. Atlas. Yikes, I forgot. I always forget this. Okay, so I'll tell you the Atlas strategy I'm running right now. So for the Atlas strategy I'm running right now, it's Shrine and Strong Boxes. Strong Boxes are spec to researchers because I like the gamble Strong Boxes. You don't really open Strong Boxes unless they are rares, and you can definitely elk them if you want. Oh, actually, I should be doing that. I should be running in and elking Strong Boxes, but I am not. So Strong Boxes, pack size, and rarity and quantity is what I'm doing. At some point, I will start getting modifier and waystone because I want to do harder maps. But for now, what I'm doing is I'm anointing on every map with a delirium, and I'm running ritual. So ritual delirium is what I'm targeting at the moment. So maps are kind of look like this. So yeah. Try to get a tower, try to get omen modifiers or whatever on the tower, something like this. Wait. Yeah, for example, omen modifiers. Increase 81,000% increase. I don't think it's like that, right? Anyway, it's a bug. It has to be a bug, right? The visual bug. How is it 81,000%? Okay, but yeah, this is the Atlas strategy. It made me very good currency. I think it's about 6 divs an hour on average. If you play it properly, it's about 6 divs an hour. Mostly of divines and omens, and divines, omens, uniques, raw drops from this, as well as simulacrum splinters from this. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Hope you. Oh yeah, to get the boss. Sorry, yeah, I forgot to talk about the boss. Non-immediate areas with boss mobs +1 level, strong box, and shrine. Yeah. All right, that's all. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys. I'm out. I'll probably still play POE2. I do enjoy POE2 a lot, to be honest. I really like where the game state is right now. If you're asking me why I'm not playing a faster skill like Lightning Strike, I already did that for about 1 week on Amazon, and it was so boring. It was boring, dude. And not only was it boring, it's really fast, and then you get a temp chase map and you start bitching non-stop. Like, what the fuck is this shit? The Lightning Strike character also doesn't really do on simulacrums. It's just not tanky enough. You don't have freeze immunity, reliable freeze immunity. You don't have reliable stun immunity, or like slow immunity, and that I think is a problem, right? Whereas this character can just do them. Like I have no issues doing simulacrums with this character. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys. I'm out. Bye.